There are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hi, and welcome to Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden and on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. And I'm your host, Suzy Prudden. I have a great guest for you today. He is actually not here in studio, he's up in Northern California. I've known him for quite a while as a good friend and a colleague. We've worked together. His name is Mark Hoover, and welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Suzy. It's fabulous to be with you.
It's great to be with you. We haven't talked in quite a while, and I have to apologize. I raced out to get here and left your bio sitting on my desk. So Donna is bringing the questions that you sent me. She should be here in a little while. But in the meantime, why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers who you are and what you do, and tell us about you?
Well, that's pretty amazing. Okay, good. I'll go for it. So
And please
I
build it up
huh?
better and better and
Build it
better.
up. I am a small business trainer and developer. I do training and coaching for small businesses throughout North America. I have some international clients as well. We are located in a dinky little town called Aptos, California, which is a suburb of Santa Cruz, which is a suburb of San Jose, which is
Which,
a suburb of San Francisco.
and
That's what
which
we.
is probably, because I've been there, one of the most beautiful parts of the country that I've been to. It's just gorgeous. And you live right by the ocean.
Oh, we do. I do. Gail and I live about a block and a half from the beach, Seacliff Beach, and then 3 blocks the other direction is our office, which is in the redwood trees. So it's a pretty amazing
Oh,
blend,
yeah.
redwood trees and ocean. And I'm really lucky. And I'm a sixth generation of this community. So my family first moved here about 170 years ago,
Wow.
which is pretty rare for California, especially if you're not of Spanish descent.
Yeah. That's wow. What do you say to that? I don't know. I'm a New Yorker, so I've only been here, my family's only been here 25 years. Although my mother and father wanted to come out when they were before my sister and I were born. My mother was a dancer, my father was a set designer, and they wanted to come out here, but my grandfather bought my father a steel manufacturing company instead. And so at the age of 21, he was the president of a steel manufacturing company that he had absolutely no desire to have anything to do with. So,
Oh,
yeah, so I came out instead, and my son is now the artist that my father wanted to be.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
And
now
just a little. Oops, go ahead.
I was going to ask you a question, but tell me what you're going to tell me first.
Okay, well, as far as the world of business, I love being in business. I started my first business when I was 15 years old, and I've been in business one form or another ever since then, which adds up to a little over 40 years. And I love, respect, acknowledge, and honor all small business people because it takes courage and it takes a massive commitment on behalf of a person to go be a business
Oh,
person
yes.
in any environment.
Yeah, a tremendous amount of courage. You have to almost go against every well-meaning relative that exists in your life because they're all going to tell you not to. They're all going to,
Yeah.
yeah, they're going to tell you you're nuts, you shouldn't do this, go get hired someplace. There's a safety in working for a big company, which we all know is not true. There's no
I led an
safety anywhere.
oh, I got it. I led an introductory course once, just an introduction to a group of MBAs, and there was some networking beforehand, and they were all MBAs, and they're all from the same school, and I would introduce myself to them. They'd tell me what they did. Then they'd ask me, and then while I'm telling them I'm in small business, each one of them every time would start shaking their head like no, and they, and they would go, "There's no way we have the guts to do what you do." They all have corporate jobs.
I had the same thing happen to me at a dinner party one time. I was at a networking organization and it was our Christmas party. And I was sitting next to the husband of a friend of mine who was sitting on the other side of him. And they both worked for major, big time corporations down here in El Segundo.
Mm,
And he turned to me and he said, I don't know how you do what you do. How can you be so far out on the edge not knowing what's coming? Because he got a paycheck every week and he had his security and this and that. And I said, I thought of his job, and I said to him, I would, and I stammered just like I am now. I don't know how to do it any other way.
exactly.
And I started my first company when I was 17. Basically, it was just a summer company because I was in school still and boarding school. And it didn't occur to me to do anything while I was in boarding school. But I started my first real company, my corporation, when I was 22, and I've always done that. Whether I've been successful or a failure, and I've done both beautifully. So tell us all the different companies you've had, and why? Now, don't answer that question. The question is really, how are you helping small businesses now? Because small businesses really need help now,
Yeah,
and they are the backbone. I believe that small businesses are going to turn this country around.
I totally agree with you. The small business, and my definition of small business is a lot smaller than like the government's definition of small business. And you know what I mean. They say small business, and they're talking up to 250 or 500 employees. Like, give me a break.
Well,
I,
we're talking about a small business as in one person,
exactly. As somebody who's a solopreneur up to
solopreneur.
5, 10, 20 employees, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. The biggest difference I think we make, Susie, with people is we are grounded in fundamentals, and there's a lot of excitement that comes and goes about different ways to build your business, manage your business, social media. And by the way, I integrate all these things. However, I give a small business person what works, not what's a good idea.
yeah,
And I'm
and that's
not super enthusiastic about just building up a lot of rah-rah and go off on your own. I'm committed to our clients' business results. As a matter of fact, for somebody to be a member with us, they have to agree to share their business results ongoingly, like key performance indicators, because that's where it really makes a difference.
that's
So
and that keeps them accountable.
it does. It keeps them accountable, but it's like, they're not going on their own, first of all. And look, all that other stuff is very valid and very important. However, if you're doing sales, if you're doing marketing, or if you're doing social media and it does its job, the phone's going to ring.
Right,
Okay, well, now what do you do?
right, right.
That's we just want the phone to ring and have you be really powerful with what happens on the phone from there on out, serving a client, and really leaving your clients with an extraordinary experience of you, and they're referring you. And said another way, Suze, we just are out to create. We want you to become a member so that we can create a new problem with you, which is you're going to need more staff and more space.
I have a problem in my business right now that I'm so booked that I have like a 3 week time slot. I don't have any appointments available for the next 3 weeks. I'm booked solid.
I
And
got it. Well, that's good for
and
you
I
too.
and people pause when they hear me say that. I said, yeah, everybody's got to have my problem. Everybody's got to.
Really,
Yeah, because I'm booked
I
solid.
got it.
Yeah. And
So I'm
so
actually in business to create a problem, not actually create a solution.
so when you give us an example of um, a typical small business that you've taken from being in the minutia of how do I do this
Yeah.
to moving through to a place where they're really they're in revenue, they're um, they're in their stride.
Okay, good. Well, I got several different examples, but let me just start with um, most fundamental. I had a brand new acupuncturist out of school come to our 2-day intensive and signed up for one of our upper level memberships. Now, this was back in April of 2013, and she is now rocking it. And her trajectory on filling her practice, because she got the coaching and the training and then followed it. That's the big piece, right?
That's the biggest piece,
acupuncture school, they get literally none of that, which is very typical for on the technical side. She's just been following the training, and it's been the fundamental stuff that it takes to build a business. I don't care if it's 2014 or 1990 or 1950. There's some fundamental stuff that if you skip over, you're actually missing it.
Right.
So she's followed that. So she's gone from zero practice to basically 2/3 full in 9 months.
That's incredible.
9 or 10 months. A pretty fast trajectory for a brand new practitioner.
Yes.
And then somebody who's been in business, here's another example. She's a corporate trainer. She's always been bumping against her six-figure business, right? She's always in the 80 to 105 with corporate training, and she's a solopreneur with a couple of contractors just helping her. As of January 21st, she had more bookings. January 21st of 2014, she had more bookings already for 2014 than she had in all of 2013.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was somebody who was not unwilling to just follow the business basics, which is, follow up with people,
well, that's the key.
Cause opportunities. Go ahead.
That's the key. Follow up.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't follow up and you don't follow through, you don't have a business.
Yeah, you might as well just tell people you're not reliable and then save both of your guys' time.
Right. I had a potential client. She did not sign up with me. And I would say, well, what do you do to get in touch with all the people whose cards you receive or tell you to contact them? And she said, I email them. I said, email doesn't work. You have to call them. She said, I don't like the phone. And I said, well, then don't be in business. She said, no, I'm going to email them. I said, well, it's not working. She said,
I could give you a big hug right now just because you said that, by the way.
I accept.
I could give you a big hug because in our 12-week self-study program, very early in week 1, I say, look, if you don't want to be in sales, then you basically don't want to be in business.
Right.
And you should stop now. And by the way, get a refund on this thing because it's not going to make any difference with you.
Yeah, you've got to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I usually carry my gold phone, but it's still packed from my last trip, and it's still packed. I haven't unpacked that suitcase. It's got all the stuff that I don't absolutely need. That was the bag that has you throw in stuff that you just don't need tomorrow or later today,
right.
And it's been 2 weeks I think sitting there. So this week it's going to get unpacked and that phone will come out. Yeah, because the money's in the phone.
Yeah, it is.
And I tell all my...
Or face-to-face. I mean, 100 years ago, that didn't exist.
Yeah. When people say they do a lot on social media, and I am not a social media maven, to say the least. I'm rarely on it. I don't know how to do it. My Donna knows how to do it. She does it for me. And I know people who use it all the time, but I can't wrap my brain around how to make money from that, so I don't bother with it. My belief is... get back out there, belly to belly networking. I got it.
Yeah, I got it. And social media does work. You kind of touched on it. It's about being consistent.
Yep.
But really, Suzy, if it's one-sided and you're telling people what you had for breakfast, what your eggs look like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's the same as picking up the phone and say, "Hey, Charlie, by the way, I just wanted to check in with you. I just had 2 eggs and they were undercooked and kind of runny." I mean, who really cares?
Right.
But in social media, if you can connect with people but have conversations, is what it boils down to. If you're engaging with people, it's really useful. It's just a different medium, but you can't be on and off about it. It's just like anything else. It's about being consistent. With that, and creating relationships and conversations with people.
Yeah, and it's in because I work with small businesses also. My coaching consists of working with someone, finding out what they're not doing that they have to do, and then just hypnotizing them to do it.
Good.
And it's interesting how it works, because all of a sudden a person will be doing something that they told me they never used to do, and they'll say, well, why am I doing this? I never used to. I said, because I hypnotized you to do it.
I got to remember that when I get somebody with a serious blockage.
Yeah, it's if they. I mean, I help people fall in love with the phone because if you don't like the phone and you're in business, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and not every communication needs to be on the phone, but there's some that it's indispensable.
Yeah. Well, when you say you have clients all over the world,
Yes.
when you work with them, I would assume on Skype or phone.
Oh, really great question. So, a lot of our clients, more than a handful, are local to our geography, and many will drive in and be with me. So, from Monterey and San Jose, I get people actually come to do a face-to-face, which I really appreciate. Many or most are on the phone. But I also have a video conferencing system that I've discovered is really reliable, which is GoToMeeting. I have it anyway, so I get to use that. The quality is really clean. We're on high definition together. And you know this because you've been in this business for many years, and I know this, but not necessarily does the customer know this. The coaching typically will be superior if it's done over the phone. And
I didn't know that.
Oh,
there you
right.
go.
Well,
I didn't know that.
The coaching will typically be superior if it's done over the phone because the coach or trainer is not getting pulled in by emotional responses and body language.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I just know that I have clients all over the place that couldn't possibly see me, so we have to do it on the phone.
Couldn't possibly see you. And if you look back, you'll find that in many cases it's much more effective. All right, so inside coach and trainer secret there it is.
There we go. Ooh, this is cool. Any more?
Yeah. I'm sure there are, but I wouldn't even begin to know what to give you because you've been in the industry for a long
time. Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I had a client in Costa Rica, and we were over the phone. It was Skype only because that's what worked for her, but it wasn't video conference because there wasn't enough bandwidth at her end. So or Long Island or Vancouver or Chicago, those clients are over the phone for the most part.
And you also do some pretty terrific trainings.
Well, I do love the live stuff better.
Yeah. I've been to several of them.
Better. I just have. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, we have our 2-day intensive, which is extraordinary. It's a 2-day weekend where people come in kind of, very thirsty for what's next for me, whether they're a new business or a business that's been around and plateaued. And we give them a roadmap, literally, almost
you do.
literally, for business. They get a one-page marketing-centric business plan. We take the business planning booga away, the mystique of it, and just do it very simply. And then we also have our upper-level memberships, which include live Mastermind 2.5-day intensives throughout the year, where they get in a mastermind environment, and there's training and development ongoingly. We have those at our corporate headquarters up here. We do love our live events.
You were down here in LA recently.
We did. We did our first 2-day intensive in Los Angeles, February 8th and 9th. We had extraordinary people come. It was amazing. I learned there's some significant differences between people in Northern California and Southern California. There was a different thirst, right? I noticed that.
That's interesting. You're right. There is. Yeah.
There is a different thirst in the first day, which is a little more sales oriented, is more about the backbone of the business. I've never seen it move with such alacrity as I did in Los Angeles. Nothing against the Northern Californians, but there was just like a real thirst for it. Whereas the second day, where the marketing was where we work on marketing strategy and stuff, it got a little more bogged down. It wasn't stopped or anything. It was just an interesting contrast. And yeah, it was our first time in that market. We had come down for the Small Business Expo in November. So yeah, we broke
I was supposed to be there, but I ended up in Haiti.
Well, I think you did good.
I did. I went with Shelley Hunt and the Women of Global Change, and we were on an 8-day cruise throughout the Caribbean, and we were supposed to do a humanitarian project in Haiti, but they wouldn't let us into Haiti. We only got to Labadee, which is this little touristy place on the edge of the island. but we did our humanitarian project in St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, there are no playgrounds, none.
Mm.
And so we put the first swing sets ever to be on St. Kitts. We put them in a mission school, and now the kids there have swing sets. They were so excited. They've never been on swings.
That's amazing.
They never even. I mean, they've seen them in pictures, but they'd never been on them. To watch those.
What is this thing?
Yeah, well, they knew what to do. That was also
That's
amazing.
great.
They knew what to do, and they were.
That's so great.
Boy, they knew what to do. They were swinging, and we had to be careful because the cement wasn't fully dry, so we had to chase them off. But it was great fun, and so I missed your event. So I'm hoping to be there at the next time you're down here. And so Donna arrived and has brought me all your questions. So
I can start by sharing the 5 most painful mistakes I've seen small businesses and entrepreneurs make.
Oh, I think that would be very, very important. So that all of you guys take out a pencil and paper if you haven't already, so you can write these down. Because if you're in business, and hopefully you are, if you're watching the show and listening, then you need to be paying attention and writing these down so that you don't make these mistakes. Okay, go, Mark.
Fabulous. How fun is that? Yeah, I'll just create these and we can go from there.
Well, what I have. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I have number one is no vision.
No vision. No vision. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but one of the biggest mistakes I see small business people make is they probably came into business with a vision, but it probably wasn't articulated in any way, either in written form or what I love as graphic form, vision board or images. And then they get into the doing of business and they lose sight of the vision, like why they're there in the first place.
They get caught in the hamster wheel.
Yes.
And you do something really interesting and fun in your 2-day intensive, and I've never seen it done the way you do it. And in a lot of times, I mean, I have a program, my Awaken the Tiger Within, where I do 4 hours of, we call it treasure mapping. This is from the 90s. And you do in 1 hour a vision board with people. And that room moves so fast. And there is so much going on. And after that 1 hour, everything is cleaned up, put away, and everybody's got their vision board.
It is. It's pretty magical.
It's totally magical. And there's their vision. And
one of the other things that's maybe not obvious is that everybody goes from a bunch of individuals being there for their own dealio to a tribe.
Absolutely. Here, take this. You need this. You need this. Who needs this? I've got this. I don't need this. Who needs that? Yeah, it's wonderful. And then you showed your vision board, and you actually showed how when you made the vision board, you didn't have what you have now that you put on the vision board.
Very true.
Yeah.
The body, the clothes, the lifestyle, all of it.
Yeah.
In a very short period of time. And it's right in front. I'm looking at it right now.
So it's constantly reminding you. And reminding your inner magician.
Mm.
You know, we all have the ability to manifest. We just have to know what we want to manifest. And
Very good, and we forget that. And we can't. It's not necessarily logical, so we discount it frequently.
I tell people if it's not logical, it's probably correct.
If it's not logical, try it on and it'll be a break.
Absolutely. There's no logic to so many of the things that I do. And it just seems like a good idea. So let's go, it's sort of like the way I do business is probably not necessarily the best way, but I throw it up against the wall. And if it sticks, okay, that works.
That's good.
And if it doesn't stick, I don't do it.
That's good. All right, number 2. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, no plan. Mistake number 2, no plan. And Suzy, if I'm in any room, whether it's 10 or 100 or 1,000 people, I can ask of business people, right? I can say, how many of you have a business plan? And on my best day, 15% of the hands will go up.
Yeah.
And people just don't get around to it, or they did it a long time ago and it hasn't been revised. And on an unfortunate statistic, which I use Dun & Bradstreet for because they're pretty reliable, 2 out of 3 businesses that start won't make it through the 5th year. And one of the top reasons is no plan.
Well, Is it 5, or I thought 80% failed by the end of the second year.
All right, I'm being really conservative.
Well, that's a frightening. I mean, when I think of how many years I've been in business, my first company I sold after 18 years, and that was in New
Mm,
York City. My second, and then I wandered around trying to figure out what to do with my life. And then I opened up another company, which I did lose in 2008. It was a franchise and couldn't pay the franchise fee, so they closed me down, and I just said thank you God. And 8 days later, opened up Suzy Prudden International, which is now, that's 2008. This is 2014. What, 4.5 years, 5.5 years old?
yeah,
So I
5
guess I'm
years.
going to stay in business.
That's great.
And
Now,
and
I'm not going to. I don't want to infer this over what you just shared, or nor have it be about either you or me. But there is something that doesn't show up in the statistics, which is businesses can make it past that 4 or 5 year marker, in your statistic, past the 2 year mark. But very many of them are just struggling. They're in business, but it's a struggle, right? They're
yeah,
not thriving. So we're also dealing with that too.
that's the part that interests me the most about your work, because your work isn't about helping people, quote unquote, stay in business. Your work is about helping people thrive in business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We distinguished very early that people kind of got it backwards. And you mentioned the vision boards, right? We do vision work before that, which is really just articulating, writing it down, creating it, so you have something to actually do in graphic form. But we start with their life. And they're coming to a business thing. I think it's going to be business. Well, we start with your life. And what we get clear is, look, your business's job is to support the life you want,
That's right.
not the other way around like you might think it has become. But your business's job is to support the life that you want.
Yep. When I had my Positive Changes Hypnosis Center, um, my business basically was my life.
Mm,
And now that I'm doing what I'm doing, I have a life.
that's fabulous.
Yeah, it really is exciting. I mean, to take 10 days off and to go on 8 days on a cruise to the Caribbean, where I was with a lot of really interesting speakers, as well as to do. I mean, I just decided one night I'm going. When I called Shelley the next day, I said, "Do you have room?" She said, "Do you have $4,000?"
I might, depends on your
I don't think
checkbook.
it was 4,000. I think it was 3,000. But anyway, I said, "Yeah, I do. That's why I'm calling you. Last month I didn't. This month I do." So it's about, and I'm enjoying right now the expansion of my business. So what's number 3? So no plan. That's
Number 2, no plan. And number 3 is no focus. And no focus, um, it's so it's so easy for the small business person and the entrepreneur to get pulled away from this thing to that thing. If we get to the later questions, I'll refer to it as shiny object
oh
syndrome,
my God, yes.
where it's like, where's the silver bullet? There has to be a silver bullet.
Yep.
There's people in business that are thriving, and they make it look so easy. There has to be a silver bullet, and I must not have gotten it. I just got to keep trying that until I find the silver bullet. It's like they go crazy,
Yeah.
and they find that they waste a lot of resources, and resources simply are time and money.
Yeah.
And next thing they know, they're left not. I would use the term bankrupt, and I don't mean it in a financial sense, although it could be, but bankrupt, just like
Exhausted.
exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
used to have bright shiny syndrome, bright shiny object syndrome, and now my associate Donna, um, she told me yesterday, "You're not taking your credit card to the next CEO space." Because
oh
I'll buy a
gosh,
workshop. You're not taking it with you. She said, I'm confiscating it because
oh
none of your other
gosh,
credit cards have enough money on them for you to pay for something like that.
I got it. Well, I just hired a bookkeeper finally.
Oh,
Um,
good.
I know it was a breakthrough. It was the last bastion of me holding on to something I probably should have let go a long time ago. And I think she's probably about 3 months from me turning over that much power and authority to her, where she says, nope, no credit card on this trip.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, because there's so much out there that's exciting. But you've got to
Yeah.
stay focused.
Stay focused, and I'll tell you what, the silver bullets are rare. So if you find somebody that's actually dealing with fundamental stuff that has a proven track record, you want to go with that.
Right.
And I apologize for pounding our own drum, but we actually are embarrassed by our business results. We track our members' effectiveness, and we're between 85 and 90% effective with our people. And we're playing for 100, Suzy, and this is inside an industry that most people don't even track it, and those that do, it's not even close to that. So anyway,
That's fantastic. That is really
Yeah.
fantastic. Because you get off track. You get off. I've belonged to various networking organizations over the years, and I see the same people, obviously, over and over again, and they're in the same space, looking for the same stuff.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, wait a second, why haven't you moved forward? Why
Well,
haven't
I'm
you?
going to tell you, it's right there in number 4.
You're absolutely correct.
Mistake number 4
I'm
is
looking
no
at
accountability.
right.
And that's amazing how the conversation went. So look, and it's probably not the obvious answer. It's probably not the obvious space you expect me to go, like having an accountability partner, all that. That could be part of it, but here's the thing. A study done by Inc. magazine communicated that over the last 3 generations, so that's our generation, the one before it, the one before that, over the last 3 generations, for both genders, so male and female, the number one reason that those people went into business was autonomy.
Right.
Autonomy. And that's bold, and it totally makes sense. But if you could use like two sides of a hand, right? One side of your hand is, I'm in business because I want to be autonomous. The flip side is, you don't hold yourself to account because that's what you're kind of avoiding.
Well, it doesn't
and that
work.
Gets built into your business system very early.
Well, it's interesting. I use results as my accountability. If I'm not making results, then there's something I'm not doing. And I have to check it. I always look at it. It's not, okay, I don't say it's the economy. I don't say, it's so-and-so's fault or I didn't get the right people. It's like, okay, what's going on in here? What's going on inside of me where I am not fulfilling what I need to fulfill in order to bring in the clients that I need to bring in or do what I need to do?
Very great. And that's it right there. It's settling for not taking action. It's settling for not being focused on what really works.
Yeah, and the only way you can make your business work is to take action. When I get upset in business, I'll call my sister. I'll say, tell me I'm okay. And if I'm having a rough week, just tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm okay. She said, Suzy, of course you're okay. Are you taking action?
Very great.
Just do something. Even just pick up the phone and just start making cold calls. Call your old list. Just do something. And as soon as I do, things turn around. I had a week where we were not making sales. Now, I love selling. I love when I say which program works for you and let me have your credit card. I love that. And I wasn't making any sales. And so I thought, okay, energetically, we have to shift the energy. So I started talking to people and they'd say, well, they didn't have the money. They didn't this. I said, well, can you do $100 a month? No. Can you do 50? No. Can you do 25? And all of a sudden, people were buying my $3,000 programs for $25 a month. Donna came in and she said, what are you doing? I said, I got to shift the energy. I've got to get the no's to yeses. And if it means $25 a month, I'll do that. And the next day we started selling them left, right, and center, all the $3,000 for $3,000.
Awesome.
But it was funny because what are you doing? And as I'm taking the credit card for $25, I'm thinking, oh God, this is going to take 10 years to get this money. So, but anyway, turned it around. So you're right, taking action. And what's the fifth one?
You reminded me before we go there. You reminded me of a quote that's in one of our self-study programs, and it's by somebody named Anthony Iannarino, and I don't know who he is, but his quote is fabulous. Any job that's not in sales, any job where I can't help create value and make a difference for a client, would be a nightmare job for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
me too. Me too. It's and I tell people that all the time, especially people who are afraid when they don't want to come off as salesy.
Yeah.
I'm really I'm salesy.
Yeah, and you don't have to be salesy. I like to have people be enrolling, just be passionate about what you
Yeah.
do and be a stand for people, and they're gonna step in or step out of it, and just don't back down, but don't be a nuisance. But yeah, don't be salesy, sure. And some people, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
You know, Suzy, we disrupt like this default pattern out there. People actually appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I teach people to have fun. See, my attitude, and this comes from one of my coaches, and I've got, over the years, I've had so many different people that I've worked with, and I've worked with so many people in the reverse, and this person says, sales is service. Hello.
Mm.
I tell my clients that if they don't sell to the people who need them, they're depriving the people who need them of what they can give them to make that person have more success in their life. By
Yeah.
not making the sale, they are depriving the person.
Yes.
And then the other thing that I said to one of my clients recently, which I really got a kick out of, she was very, very inexpensive. I said, "You're too cheap." She said, "Well, people can't afford me." I said, "No, people can afford you. You're attracting the wrong people. You are a bargain basement with that price, and you are attracting bargain basement people. You want to be a Tiffany's. So you need to triple your prices." Oh, she had a hard time doing that, so we doubled them. And
went with double.
you got to go to where the muscle is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she could double
and you're
them.
very good at that.
Well, I was a fitness expert.
It makes sense.
Makes total sense. Did it 18 years, 8 hours a day. I taught fitness, so I know how to count to 8 often. Tell us the last one. This
The
is
last of the 5 mistakes
yeah, because
is ignoring the signs.
this is major.
Ignoring the signs. You know,
This is
there's
major.
many people go into business and they get enamored by their trade or whatever they technically love to do, and the taking care of their customers and all that, which is important. But business is designed to have certain signs so that you can pay attention and to do something about it.
Right.
So there's like, well, what kind of sales do you need to be having? What financial signs are you ignoring? Are you going into a debt and hoping that it all works out?
It's called head in the sand.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I have one of the positive changes companies. Most of them are gone now, but this was, I think, in 2006. 2006, when the real estate market was really, really high. They took out a humongous second mortgage on their house to finance their business.
Mm.
And when the market fell, everything fell.
Yeah.
They lost it all. And it was like, no, you don't want to do that. Whenever I've grown a business, I've started very, very small, and then I add a little bit, and I stay there for a while, and then I add a little bit, and I stay there for a while. And when the market started to shift in 2007, I downsized. Everybody told me not to.
Mm.
And I kept downsizing until I was actually in two rooms where I had I get 12 rooms in this particular office at one time. We had broke it down to 2 rooms plus a waiting area. And it was like, no, you aren't you noticing what's going on in the world? Hello?
Very good.
And that's what this is major what you have here.
So that was paying attention to the signs.
Yeah.
Very great.
And never and I've done it wrong so beautifully.
Oh, I think most of us got our training from flubbing up.
Yeah. Yeah. I just took a workshop with Alex Mendoza on Google Hangouts. He's so much fun. He says fail faster and fail forward. Keep failing. And because that's when you learn.
Yep.
Now you have 6 questions here that you absolutely must be asking. And
yeah.
the first one is why.
Yeah. Why am I doing this? So by the way, just a FYI, all these 6 questions fold back into the 5 mistakes. So first question is why, and these are all very short and simple questions. Why? Why am I doing this, really? So it's about having present for you why you're in business, your vision for your life and your business in front of you, and also being really clear about your purpose or your mission, and to create that simply with the people on the show. Creating your purpose or your mission is really a 2-step thing. What direction are you taking, and what's the impact you're out to make? And the direction is, well, our business is out to have this difference made in the world, and the impact is going to be this. Impact could be about just profit, or it could be the impact culturally or with people, or also with the planet, or all 3. So it starts to give direction and the why you wake up. And one of the things to do is if getting out of bed is difficult, a very good place to look is that
It's
you're
a good
not
place
connected
to start.
why.
Right. It's a good place to start. If you have a bad thought first thing in the morning, you got to rethink it.
Yeah, really go back to bed and do a do-over.
Do a do-over. Do a do-over immediately, because that first thought's going to get you through according to that first thought.
Yeah.
I remember one time waking up, this is many, many years ago, with the thought, oh God, I have 18 hours and then I can go back to sleep again. And the terrible thing in that moment was that I meant it. I could see myself slogging through my day. Oh my God. And then I went, hold it, that's not a good thought. You got to change that thought. Okay, so what's the thought you want to have to get you through this day? So I just said, okay, something wonderful is going to happen to me today.
Yeah, and you're so very good at creating that with people.
Yeah, you just got to reframe it.
You are good at creating that with people, and people aren't natural with that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
Thank you.
much so. Well, the second question is what?
Before we do the second question, because
Sure,
I'm looking at the clock and it's flying, tell people how to get in touch with you. Because I know that the people listening, and then and if they don't listen, not listening now, who've seen on the YouTube that'll go up on or whatever, will want to know how to get in touch with you, because you have a real gift in taking people literally from zero to success.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, how about 2 ways?
Okay,
one
that'll
is
work.
our website, which is markhoovertraining.com, and 2 O's in Hoover, so markhoovertraining.com. You poke around there, and you can look at our programs or our 800 number, and you can reach members of my staff or me. Just call 800-945-4603.
Now, do you have a free report or something that they can get when they contact you?
Yeah, they can go online. There's 2 ways that they can get some stuff from us. First of all, there's what we have, the 5 essential tips on our website.
That's great.
We just exchange it for your email address and your name, so we know who you are. And it's really fabulous that, why do we like to give you these 5 essential tips? Well, dude, because they're essential.
They're essential. Yeah.
And then there's a video series where I go in depth with these 5 mistakes and the 6 questions, and I walk it through people so people can do the video too.
That's great. So again, it's markhoovertraining.com.
Uh-huh.
And the 800 number again?
800-945-4603.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so now come to number 2. What's the second question you need to be asking?
What? So now that you've actually gotten present to your vision and your mission or purpose, we know, and we know this from our programs and know this from reality, as soon as you go out in the world, there's going to be stuff, and this stuff can get in your way. So the question is, what gets in your way? And as you know intimately from being in our programs, we call it clutter.
Right.
And there's clutter in your life, and there's clutter in your business, and it takes 2 forms. It's actually physical, like the messy desk or the stuff you haven't filed or the drawer you shouldn't open or the file boxes that you've saved way too long and who knows what's in there. And the same goes for your home.
I'm going under the table now.
Don't let me talk about your stuff. I love it.
I
What
actually,
you can do, you can actually shut the door on physical clutter, but the other one's mental clutter, and there's this weird phenomena. It follows you wherever you go.
yeah, it's there. I have someone who comes in once a week to sit with me because I can't do my desk by myself.
Mm.
And so I have someone who comes in once a week, and I literally pay her to babysit me to do my desk.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When that's done, how do you feel?
I feel fabulous, and my mind is clear, and work is
Great.
flowing. That's why I do it. I do it once a week, and I finally thought, you know what? It's getting worse and worse. I'm not doing it. I promised to do it. I'm not. I tell my clients to do this. Get a babysitter,
Yeah, good.
and they go, really? I said, well, you're not doing it. You're not doing it, right? Yeah. This is so.
So really quickly, there's a physiological response to dealing with your clutter, whether it's getting something complete or fulfilling on a promise you said you would do or something you've been putting off, a decision, or just cleaning up a pile. There's a physiological response, and everybody knows it. It's endorphins. It makes you feel good. It has you be more open.
Yep.
So it is a very good argument for if you're not doing that, you know all that weight is there on you. So it's a very logical conversation. So that's the second question. What is in your way? What are the things getting in your way?
And then the third question is, who?
Who? Who are you?
Who am I?
And if everybody only got one thing out of all of our programs, it's to get that there is a certain kind of organization you are. And if I asked you, and it is a trick question, I get that. If I asked you what kind of organization you are, you'd probably say a sole proprietor, I'm a corporation, or I'm a service organization, or I help people. And you can get all the kind of answers you want. And then I say, well, here's the reality. You're a sales and marketing organization.
That's right.
And we already talked about this, right? It
Yeah.
all starts with a sale. I don't care what business you're in.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sales and marketing work together, and people kind of overestimate what marketing can do for the average business. Marketing's job in its most simplest form is to make your phone ring so that you can now have a conversation, but not just any old conversation, sales conversation.
A sales conversation. Yeah. And now we have number 4 is how.
How? How do I get focused on what works? And we talked about shiny object syndrome, and I equate the training of a business person, the proper training of a business person, like a baseball player, where they're trained to keep their eye on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If you imagine a baseball player who's got his eye on the ball, but he knows about his hips position and his position of his feet and how he's twisting and the shoulders and how level his bat is and where, all that stuff and how many people are in the stands and what the arm angle of the pitcher was and it was were his feet level, all that. He's aware of it, but he's focused on one thing, his eye on the ball. And to make a very long story very short, for business people, having your eye on the ball while still aware of all the other parts it can be developed, and it's magic. And in its simplest form, having your eye on a ball is having your eye on the ball of creating opportunities.
Right. Yeah.
Creating opportunities, it all starts with creating an opportunity, and they develop relationships over time.
And allowing opportunities.
Absolutely.
Sometimes something shows up and we don't realize it's an opportunity until it's gone, and it's like, whoa, wait, what happened? And take it again, action.
Yep.
Action. Yep. So now, number 5.
My favorite question is number 5.
So go ahead.
Where?
And do you want to say it or should I say it?
I'll say it. Where does your business suck?
I don't like that question, 'cause that means you really have to look. You really do.
You do have to look. And here's the thing. Let me give people a little prompt, right? It's not about things you don't like to do. I mean, I don't actually. That's all just mental stuff. But more like, where are you hard to do business with? Or where do you drop the ball? Or where do you waste resources? Or where are you not spending the time and energy to create opportunities?
And where are you not showing up?
Yeah, where are you not showing up?
Yeah.
So that's question number 5, and it's It's a little bit in jest, but it's a very pointed question, and it gets people to look. Like, I don't know. And people get stuck in ruts with how business should be. We call it gates. People build gates, like put stuff in the way for people to do business with them. We say tear down the gates and build slides.
Oh, that's nice. When I was in boarding school in 7th and 8th grade, they had slides next to every staircase because
Oh my God!
I know, because a lot of them we were little. That was 7th and 8th grade, and a lot of us wanted to slide down. We didn't want to walk down the stairs. So we all developed various ways of maneuvering the slide. If you're wearing the right shoes, you could slide down on your feet. And otherwise, you would have to slide down, just on your butt. And some people slid down, bent kneed. And it was just, we had slides. So there you go. Making it easy. So the last question, and we've only got about 2 minutes left. When?
I got it. It's a quickie.
When? When am I going to make the shift?
When are you going to make the shift? And what's the shift? The shift is to appropriate, potent action. When are you going to take the next action for your company? It could be just asking, where does your business suck? Or it could be looking at these, creating a vision. Or it could even be doing our course or Suzy's course. But this is what I can acknowledge. I recognize that small business owners can find themselves working really hard, making less than if they had a job, sometimes feeling like a slave to their business and overwhelmed and not know what to do.
So I'm going to suggest that people take the appropriate potent action and call you. What's your number?
800-945-4603.
One more time.
800-945-4603. And I happen to be on that line, so if they're calling right now, they're going to have to wait about I should have thought this through and called on one of the other lines, but oh, so much for that.
Well, it'll go to voicemail, won't it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so you'll get the message.
I just want to talk to people, and Valerie or John or Ann can talk to people. But here's the thing: we have our 2-day intensive, and look, it's 2 days of your life being invested to take a shot for your business, and you'll see on the website it's $997, but if you apply for a scholarship, I pretty much grant most of them, and you just give us a $100 seat deposit, which I give you back. So I help you with the money investment. You still have to make the time investment, and that's how our weekend works.
And the most important person to invest in is you. Period. I don't mean you, Mark. I mean you, the watcher, the listener, the person who's listening right now. When I think of the money that I've invested in myself, and I am so grateful that I did it, because if I hadn't done it, I would not be where I am today. And I recommend that to everybody. If you want to move your life forward, invest in yourself.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Well, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. And let's talk later on this week, one-on-one, not one on 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000, and find out when we're going to do our next joint venture together.
Oh, it's a complete honor for you to have invited me and to spend this time with you. I learned so much from being with you, and I have a ball during the interviews, and there's nobody that does it better than you.
Thank you. So we'll talk soon. And this is Suzy Prudden with Mastermind Live on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. See you next week.
Thank you.